Your Majesties, Your Royal Highness, honorable members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you and the world, humbled by this recognition and uplifted by the honor of being the 2004 Nobel Peace Laureate.
Nikajua msiogope, mambo ni ya nature. Naitwa Dhoita Mwangi na mimi ni Mkenya. Sawa? And the title of the show is Memory Keepers, and where I have been honored kama Dhoita Mwangi, the storyteller, to take you through this undergrowth ya Wangarĩ Maathai's life. So, sit back and enjoy. So leo tutakuwa tunapiga revision kuhusu global recognition ya Wangarĩ Maathai, na kwa sababu sisi wote ni index 1, kwa hivyo tutaipiga teke na tutakuwa tunaongelea the Nobel. Tuko pamoja? Tusikie kutoka kwa storyteller in studio A. Na nikisema Nobel, simaanishi kukosa kengele ati Nobel. Na maanisha the Nobel Peace Prize. So over to you pale studio A, Dhoita storyteller. Twende sana.
Thank you very much bwana Dhoita. Nimeona hapo.
Anyway, a long time ago in the 70s, Kenya was the best producer of livestock. Wangarĩ Maathai by then alikuwa lecturer, lakini Maathai with a single A. Sawa? I wonder, inaweza kuwa kuna ma-studio walikuwa wanapigwa missing mark na Miss Maathai. She was participating in a research project based in improving the productivity of the domestic animals, as well as undertaking a post-doctoral research based on the life cycle of the parasite that causes the East Coast fever. Hii ndio ile research project yufanywa after umefanya PhD. Lakini swali ni, mjama wetu wa Sugoi mulimuona akifanya? Na ati inasemekana ati ako on the same academic level na Wangarĩ Maathai. Hai, wacheni kutobeba ujinga bwana. Anyway, let's celebrate the livestock industry kwa sababu ya kitu moja. Livestock industry ilitupatia the one and only environmentalist turned into a true politician. Wewe shangwe la nderemo za livestock industry, wewe. Shangwe la nderemo za livestock industry. Shangwe la nderemo za livestock industry. Anyway, iko tu sawa. While collecting ticks in a number of livestock, I realized something very interesting. That the livestock zilikuwa zimekondeana sana. In a way, hadi angecount the ribs. And the reason was, ile nyasi zilikuwa zinakula, haikuwa poa. Alafu I realized something interesting once again. That the roads kukinyesha zilikuwa zina flood, zinabeba mchanga. Then I realized something tena ati. Pali yeye Wangarĩ Maathai alikuwa anakimbililia akicheza akiwa mtoto, akihang around the fig tree. Hiyo ni Mugumo. Alipata kuna kauzi alikuja, akakata miti, akakata Mugumo, ati apande chai, cash crop. Wewe ukata the holy tree, upande cash crop, we expect to grow. Kuna ilikuwa dry land. Same concept ina happen pale Viojeri, the same spot. One shoot the Dan Kimathi, damu ikamwagika. Hadi wa leo hakuje grow kitu.
I reflect on my own childhood experience when I would visit a stream next to our home to fetch water for my mother. I would drink water straight from the stream because it was clean. Playing among the arrowroots, I tried in vain to pick up the strands of frogs' eggs, believing they were beads with which I could adorn myself. But every time I put my little fingers under these beads, they would break. Later, I saw thousands of tadpoles, black, energetic, and wiggling through the clear water against the background of the brown earth. This is the word I inherited from my mother. Today, 50 years later, my stream has dried up. Women walk longer distances to fetch water, which is not always clean. And children may never play with the tadpoles and the frog eggs, and they may never know what they lost. The challenge, as I stand here today, is to restore this home for the tadpoles and give back to the children a world of beauty and wonder.
Halafu nyinyi mko hapo mnasema ati floods na drought ni natural disaster. Sasa nyinyi ndio mlikata hizo miti. Kwa nini expect consequences ziko ni gani? Hizo ndio consequences majamaa. Nyinyi ndio mlizokata hizo miti hoya. Nyinyi ndio mlikata hizo miti. Anyway. Anyway, wacha tusikie Mr. Mwangi atasema nini na hizo findings zake akiwa studio B.
In 1979, Wangarĩ was part of an audience listening to one of the researchers called Sheila Wamahio meaning livestock. She realized something interesting according to the data, that children coming from the region that she grew up in were suffering from malnutrition. Something that was very interesting to her because she remembers in her childhood the land was fertile and the food was in abundance. Imagine, the children were suffering from kwashiorkor and marasmus. All because the people had taken a different route of planting cash crops, coffee, and tea for international markets. A place where they were previously planting food to feed the people were now places full of coffee and tea that they cannot eat. Now, the women opted to feeding their children with processed food like rice, white bread, and wheat. Foods that we know that they are less of in proteins, minerals, and vitamins. Cooking these processed foods was alternatively easy compared to the foods that Wangarĩ Maathai used to eat when she was a child. Women were now using maize husk and stems as fuel instead of firewood. Why? Because of deforestation. Kitu interesting ni ati the most affected ilikuwa ni Wakoro, especially kina mama wenye walikuwa na watoi na familia za kufeed. Hii research ilikuwa inapewa kina mama. Umeisikia the NCWK? In the 70s, Wangarĩ joined the NCWK na akiwa huko akajiuliza hapo, have the ladies or the women taken the idea of planting trees ndio waweze kusolve problems zao za fuel, food na finance? And probably the first answer alipata ni wewe gale unadhani pesa zinachunagwa kwa miti. On the World Environment Day of 1977, Wangarĩ led the planting of trees in honor of 7 people from different ethnic groups, all of them whom the community leaders in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, including Wangarĩ Maathai, a woman chief from Murang'a, Wayaki Wahinga, the leader betrayed by the British in the 1890s, Mekatilili Wamenza from the North Coast, Masakungei, after whom Machakos is named, na Bongo Mumia, the Wanga leader after whom Mumias is named, Olonana Olembatiani, a Maasai born with immense historical impact, and Gor Mahia Ward Ogalo, a Luo hero. Among the tree species they planted were the Nandi Flame, broad-leaved cordia, African fig tree, and East African yellowwood. These 7 trees formed the first Green Belt. A movement had been born. The Green Belt Movement is a grassroots organization which empowers women through planting trees to address global deforestation, with a mission to mobilize communities for self-determination, justice, equity, reduction of poverty, and environmental conservation, using trees as the entry point. Has succeeded in forest conservation, education, economic empowerment, civic engagement, human rights, advocacy, access to public spaces, and environmental justice. Founded in response to problems facing women like child malnutrition, lack of fuel, poverty, and soil erosion, they have planted 51 million trees and counting. Through transformative grassroots initiatives, GBM integrates climate resilience, gender advocacy, and environmental sustainability to address critical challenges facing marginalized communities. Kiasi, Wangarĩ Maathai akarealize kitu moja ni ati hizi misitu hazikuwa zinakuliwa na wanakijiji, hazikuwa zinakatwa na wanakijiji. Zilikuwa zinaibiwa na serikali na wananchi. Yaani hiyo serikali ya Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Anapiga kitu gani? Ni mmoja wa mlituvuruga. Anyway, public land ilikuwa inaibiwa alafu inapatia watu politicians wenye walikuwa wanatengeneza ma real estate alafu wanazisell out for profit. GBM ikachukulia hiyo kitu personal sana, wakaamua kuprotect the forest na kuadvocate for change. Mambo ikakuwa mwacheche, ikakuwa moto pale pande ya Wangarĩ. Kidogo kidogo Uhuru Park anapigana, ako Freedom Corner anafight alongside the mothers of the detained political heroes. Mara ako pale kwenye ethnic clashes, anapanda miti. Kumbe hizi vitu zote alikuwa anafanya, there was a certain Norwegian community walikuwa na observe. Juu story, wacha tusikie Dhoita Murio wa ground vile atatupatia hii ripoti. Oya, Dhoita Murio ground. Yaje? Over to you mtu wangu. Thank you. Asante. Oh, thank you. On the 8th of October 2004, while Wangarĩ was traveling to her constituency with her friends, she received a phone call. She wanted to receive the phone call lakini akapata hakuna network, alikuwa anataka kupanda juu ya mti, but akaona ni heri atoe kichwa nje ya dirisha. On the other side of the phone call was the chairperson of the Norwegian committee by the name Ole Danbold Muse. Akasema, hello, hope you're well. We as the Nobel Prize Committee have recognized what you have been doing in these specific areas of peace, sustainability, and good governance. And we have decided that we're going to award it to someone who has always been working for decades on this region. And huyo mtu ni wewe, Wangarĩ. Imagine ni wewe, Wangarĩ. We all remember when Wangarĩ used to plant trees to reach to the people. Akipigwa na Moi. And now, people were now taking recognition of her. Wanauliza, je, ni wewe? Hapana. Ni wewe? Hapana. Ni wewe? Hapana. Ni wewe? Hapana. Je, ni wewe? Ni mimi.
As the first African woman to receive this prize, I accept it on behalf of the people of Kenya and Africa, and indeed the whole world. I am especially mindful of women and girl child. I hope it will encourage them to raise their voices and take more space for leadership. I know the honor also gives a deep sense of pride to our men, both old and young. As a mother, I appreciate the inspiration this brings to the youth and urge them to use it to pursue their dreams.
Back to you, storyteller.
Mi nisha maliza muhahe na pang'ang'a, wacha niwaachie msikize Prof.
In the course of history, there comes a time when humanity is called to shift to a new level of consciousness, to reach a higher moral ground, a time when we have to shed our fear and give hope to each other.